Oh baby, we've been on a roll with the STI videos, so this one's going to be more of a tutorial type video, but nonetheless it's still going to be rad. So I'm going to be installing the Strafe Design Rear Diffuser on my STI, and now I'm not 100% sure how to do it, but luckily we have instructions. So we're going to start with the tools needed, which are going to be an 11mm socket, a drill of some sort, a 1/2" drill bit, a Phillips bit, a flathead screwdriver or a clip puller because we'll be removing some clips, and then a Sharpie. So first thing we need to do is behind the rear tire there's two push clips holding onto the bumper that we need to remove so that the outside fin can sit here, and we'll do this on both sides. Okay, so next up, where we just pulled those push clips out, we're going to take our drill with our 1/2" drill bit and we're going to ream those holes out for this 1/2", and then we're going to get our nutsert and we're going to push it up in the hole. So on both my outside fins, those holes aren't big enough for the bolts to go through, so I'm going to ream those out to 1/4 inch so that everything's going to fit nicely. Okay, so next up we're going to line up the outside fin, and using the bolts and washers that were provided, we're going to bolt the outside fins to the car. Just be sure not to over tighten these as those nutserks aren't very strong, so just get it snug and that should be good enough. So for a couple of them, I'll probably not use the nutzerk. I'll probably just use a bolt, a nut, and a lock washer just to be extra safe and make sure it never falls off. So for right now, I'm just going to hand tighten everything just to make sure it all fits right, and then I'll go back and tighten everything with a socket and a wrench. Okay, so we got both sides on and they're looking awesome. So next up, we're going to do the middle plate, and we're going to have to defer to the instructions for this one. Line the main diffuser plate up in the desired location, and then it says it's best to line it up with the license plate. So we'll probably line the middle fin up with the middle of the license plate, and then mark the 4 holes, and then we'll drill them with the 1/2" drill bit. So shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so I'm just going to mark just a tiny mark just right here in the center. I'm going to line it up in the center of where this 4th light would usually go. So we're going to mark just a tiny little thing, and then we're going to line up the center fin with that mark. Okay, so how I lined that up was I just made it stick out about 1/8 inch away from the bumper, so it almost looked flush, and then just made sure it was straight, and then marked the holes. And the holes are big enough that we should be able to get just a little bit of play out of it, so don't have to be entirely accurate, get as close as you can, but with a little bit of play that we should have, we should be able to get it perfectly level going from there. So okay, so now that we got those holes drilled, we're going to go ahead and install the nutserks, and then we're going to put this thing up and get it on there. Perfect, so we got this thing sitting on here, these 4 bolts are holding it, so there's 2 more up here, and so this is when you're going to need your impact or your drill with a head to screw these in. So what we're doing is, where the spare tire carrier is, they claim that there's a 2-inch space in there, and that's where we're going to drill the other holes into to secure this thing the best we can. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see how that goes. Okay, so I just finished drilling those both in, and it felt like there was the 2-inch space. I didn't hit anything, so that's a plus. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten this thing up, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, so I just finished tightening everything up, and I just want to talk to you about it for just a sec. So at first glance, this thing looks mean. Like, look at this. From the side profile, it looks so good. So, I mean, that's obviously the reason we bought it, was to make the car look a lot meaner. So that's sick. Second thing I want to talk to you about is I would stay away from using those nutserks if possible. As I was tightening them up, most of them ended up falling out on me, and that's just while I was trying to tighten them. So I ended up replacing as many as I could with lock washers and nuts. And so I got those on the side ones, so everything is secure now. The middle ones, I was only able to put those lock washers and nuts on the side ones right here. The middle ones, I had to leave the nutserk in because I couldn't get my hand in there. But this middle one's plenty secure with the self taps and the bolts holding it, so I'm not worried about that, but just wanted to let you guys know so none of you have that same issue. So all in all, I'm super pumped on how this turned out. The car is slowly coming together. If you've been following along with all the other STI videos I've been posting, I appreciate it. And if you haven't, consider subscribing to keep up, because I've got some pretty cool plans for this thing in the future. So yeah, make sure to follow along. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.